Hey, friends. Well, so this morning I had what was maybe a kind of it sounds like a routine meditative experience, but it was actually kind of a big one, kind of there was something in it that really I felt like I was seeing something on a deeper level. Basically, I woke up. Actually, it started before I was even meditating. It started when I was still lying in bed, and then I got up. And the sense that I had, even before I got out of bed, was like there's this reservoir of peace, like a big ocean that I could dive into or not, or bob to the surface of. And, again, and that's why I'm saying in some ways it sounds like such a ho-hum thing to describe. It's like what everybody has said about meditation ever, in a way. And yet, it's really kind of profound to recognize that reservoir of peace, and it's not really, it's peace. I think it's peace because we describe it as peace because our mind stops chattering when we go there, right? That's why we describe it as peaceful. The dimension beyond mind, what Sadhguru finally defined the word Buddha for me, where Bud, the first half of the word means buddhi, which is mind, and da means like da in Sanskrit or something, and it means beyond. So the word Buddha means beyond the mind. That place beyond the mind stops chattering and it feels peaceful. But we could have this experience anytime. You could have it driving down the highway. You could have it in the middle of a basketball game. You could, God forbid, have it in the middle of a combat zone. So in other words, the peace is not a state of not moving or non-action. It's just a state where the mind is not active. The mind is not creating or responding or in charge anymore of what we're doing, of what's happening in our awareness. And the mind kind of very willingly lets go. Like once we go there, that's the funny thing. Like my mind, I have such a what's the word? I have a very active mind, and I have a mind that's very enthusiastic about being involved. But as soon as I go to that place, that deeper stillness, it's like my mind instantly goes, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, you got it. Okay. It instantly gives up. In other words, the mind recognizes when it has been, like when our awareness is going to a deeper, higher place. Sometimes the mind still tries to hang on, but when we really go there, the mind instantly sort of knows, oh, I'm out of my depth here. You take it from here, consciousness of the universe. I got nothing. And this morning, I think what was kind of profound about the experience this morning was that it kind of went back and forth a couple times. It was like I felt myself, and it was like I felt myself kind of come out and then go back in, and it was almost like I could voluntarily do it. It was almost like I could just like dive into the water, and then something would happen and I would float back up. But then I could dive in again. I could sort of consciously plunge into that stillness. And that felt good. You know, it's one of these things where I've actually noticed in my morning routine, I've noticed that when I root myself in that place, I am not less active or more lethargic. I'm actually far more awake and more like the way it manifests is if I'm doing my Qigong routine, there's some days where if I have lethargy in my system, part of the practice of Qigong is that it helps me kind of drain that out. It helps things come online. And sometimes it's a matter of just sitting with it and letting it drain. And other times it's a matter of continuing to stay on top of the practice and letting that lethargy kind of be it's like polishing a lamp or a pot or something, where we polish it and then little by little the haze goes away. But it takes the action of polishing to make the haze go away. The haze doesn't just go away on its own. That's what the practice helps me do. It's just a image of what it kind of feels like. And what I notice is when I go to that place of deep stillness, the haze goes away even quicker. Like my practice becomes more on task. I don't spend any time spacing out, because that's the effect of the kind of haziness, is I'll spend some time kind of spacing out, and then I'll be like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be doing Qigong, or I'm, there's a way in which I kind of gap. And that stillness completely just kind of moves that aside. It's like it takes the fuzziness and it's like watching a mist clear or something. Instead of struggling my way through the mist, it's like the mist just clears. And of course that affects then what my focus can do, because now my focus has options. Now I can survey the options that I have in front of me and actually and choose. Whereas when I'm in the haze, I have fewer choices. It's not that I don't have any choices, but I have fewer. So that was just a cool experience. And then it persisted into my Qigong routine this morning and into my meditation routine. It was like everything kind of had that character of, oh, I can dip into this anytime I want. Doesn't matter what my mind is doing. I can go there. And then it doesn't really matter whether my mind, then the mind generally settles down. But that's not even the point. And even if it doesn't matter that the mind doesn't settle down. When we're in that place of stillness, the mind can be as active as it wants. Knock yourself out, mind. Run laps around the field if you'd like to, but it doesn't affect the stillness. It doesn't make the stillness any less still, because the mind decided to just go on its hamster wheel over here. And so that's why generally when we really go there, the mind is kind of like, okay, fine. Because it's like, yeah, I could run the hamster wheel over here, but you're not giving me any attention. I'm not getting any love over here on my hamster wheel, so might as well just chill out. So it's not that we force the mind to slow down or to stop. It's just that clearly the mind just isn't getting the charge that it's looking for, because again, you got to figure our mind is designed to solve problems, and solving problems, creating efficiencies of behavior, of action, of thought, those are the mind's jobs, and it does those jobs with our survival in mind. So it feels high stakes. It feels like it's got an important job to do, and it better not fall down on the job. Which I think is why then when we go to an even deeper place, when we go to a place of genuine higher frequency stillness, because in that place our survival is already, well, it's not that our survival is necessarily assured, but it's like our existence beyond the physical mind and body becomes self-evident. And so the impulse to scramble for survival is just kind of like, well, what's the point? There's no need. Again, I'm sort of like both reflecting on my experience and also in some ways postulating what I think might be happening here. But that's my sense, is that when we settle into a place where we are beyond the mind, and there's a level of consciousness way beyond the mind and beyond the body, the frantic, compulsive need to preserve the mind and body and to defend them just kind of gets alleviated, because we have a deeper existence now. We're connecting with a deeper aspect of our existence that doesn't require a frantic search for or a frantic battle for survival to take place. That dimension isn't going anywhere. So it was just cool to feel that show up. I'm sure that any of us who meditate regularly, we have the experience of like, sometimes, oh, I meditated this morning and it was so amazingly peaceful and blissful. Oh, I meditated this morning and I couldn't stop my mind from running 1,000,000 miles an hour, right? We've all had those both experiences, and it's not like once you go to the deep place, you're just done. We have to, that's why it's a practice. But it was fun to feel that dimension kind of become like something that I felt like I could grasp. It was like something that was like not just randomly happening. It was like, oh, no, I can just lean into this. All I have to do is dive into the pool. So it's kind of cool. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate you. Love you. This conversation is a treasure for me. So thank you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.